Oh man. Good morning, YouTube. This is for the Trucker Doll channel. So I'm gonna do a video, and some people may take offense. I'm not trying to be offensive, but if you're in your feelings, you are, and if you're not, you're not. I've just noticed something, and I guess because of my age, I'm a lot different. So I'm gonna tell a little bit about my background as far as my family. Use my father as an example. My biological father, I have to use him. And I'm going to use myself as an example from my youth. I don't know what I'm going to title this video. I think I'll figure it out here, but we're going to title it something like make sure you have a plan. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Have a plan. So let me back up. When I first got into trucking, I did it because I really just wanted the adventure of it. I wanted something where I could travel. I was burnt out on the corporate environment. A lot of bad stuff in politics, especially when you're in management. Mid-management, and it just happened. Especially, you got a lot of cutthroat people in the offices that are ready to stab their mother in the throat for a position, a title, or to put one of their buddies in a position, and I had some of that happen. So once that happened, I had already been looking at trucking years before. I mean, actually, I had looked at trucking, I'm going to say, in my mid-20s, and I didn't come into it. No, it was in my late 20s, early 30s that I first looked into trucking. I had actually visited AIT while I was working at Charles Schwab. I had went to them while I was working there and visited the school. And at that time, I don't think they took financial aid when I first went to them. So I had visited the school. And it was a lot of money then, and I was like, and I didn't have the money to do it. And so I decided not to. Plus, trying to fit it in with the schedule that I was working because I could not just quit my job and go to trucking school. And I couldn't just adjust my schedule. And then to try to work, work and then go to night school, I wasn't that dedicated to the idea at the time. As time went on and I got more and more burnout in the corporate environment, it became more appealing. And like I said, I did have family who did transportation from trucking to trains, so I had a little bit of knowledge, not a lot. I had never been inside of a truck. I remember I went to like one of the trucking sale yards. I think it was a KW yard over here on the west side of Phoenix, and looked at some trucks on the yard. And at that time, it just looked so massive. I didn't even think about climbing up in it. I was just looking at the outside of the truck. Anyway, later on, after I got downsized out of the telecommunication company I was working for, and it was at the height in the 2009 time frame, height of the economic crash. I decided I'm gonna go to trucking school. I was walking away from a house that was so underwater it wasn't even funny. My $160,000 house was now worth less than 40 or 30,000. The two-story house next door to me went into foreclosure, and they sold it for like 30 grand. The bank did. So my house was a one-story, and it was half the size. So I had to deal with that, trying to short sale, trying to get out of it. So at that point, I was like, no time like the present. I had a little bit of money saved up through savings and 401k, and decided, I was at age, was I 40 something, and I'm like, let's do this now. Okay, it was like 44, 40, somewhere in the 40s, like 42, 43, somewhere like that. And I decided there was no time like the present. That's my flip. I'm charging it. It was dead, so I'm charging it. It was no time like the present to actually do what I had planned to do, and that was to actually go into trucking school. Now, and I wanted to travel. I wasn't even really looking at income. It was weird because I had a little bit of money saved. I was on unemployment. I pretty much going to trucking school, financial aid, and just doing that. I rented a room from a friend. Actually, I rented a room from one friend, and then I ended up living in with another friend later on who was a little closer to the trucking school and less drama in the house, which is the friend I'm staying with now, and ended up going to trucking school. So that was when I went into it. Now, I really didn't have a plan. I'm just going to say that. If for me at the time of going into trucking school the first time was because I truly wanted to travel and I wanted some adventure and I wanted something different. I had job offers from the bank, from Bank of America. Didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go back. Banking has a lot of politics in it, and I didn't want to go back into a corporate environment. So went into trucking. Now at the height of the economic crash, they knew truckers were a dime a dozen. There were so many people coming in the industry. They knew it. I remember Swift even said that people were coming into trucking just so they could live off the trucks. I'm going to talk about that too. Because if you're single, live off the truck. Save your money. You're only back home at very little time. Now it's a little more flexible because they're so desperate for drivers. They're doing everything they can to work with you. And we'll talk about that in a whole nother video. I'm not going to do that, but that's a good topic. I'm going to talk about that. I got into it more so for the adventure and to do the travel and even the challenge of it. It was very challenging being a female in the industry and equipment that was literally made for men. The size of it, when most women, not all of us are, I'm 5'3", 5'2", 5'3", something like that. So I'm short. And, even a 5'7" woman, we're just not made. The equipment is made for a tall guy. And if you're a short dude, it's kind of hard for you guys too. So I was watching one guy, he's short, he got a ladder just to get into the top bunk and to get up into the cabinets inside the truck. And he says, well, I can use this also to get inside the trailer. I'm getting me a ladder too when I go back to trucking. Do just like flatbedders and have one for the trailer. And somebody had told me that too. It was years ago when I was working at Swift, an older guy. He saw me up in there, climbing up. He says, you're short. He says, I'm short. Get a ladder. And I used to have a little ladder when I first was out there because I listened to his advice, and I had one. It makes a world of difference. But what I'm going to tell you is have a plan. And let me explain why. And use wisdom. Guys, if you come into this industry, use wisdom, especially when it comes into your finances, okay? So here's my father, okay? He made good money. He made in transportation when he was over the road with the railroad, he was making over 100 a year, 100,000 a year. When he decided not to go over the road, I think he went between $60,000 and $80,000 a year because of his seniority. Union and money went into a pension. So now, as a retired railroader, his income is somewhere around $3,800. I think between $3,800 a month. Okay. Now there are working folks that would love to have that income, but he's very fortunate because we know a lot of people under Social Security don't bring in what he's bringing in. I think he even has some travel benefits, but he doesn't. He's different. When he went to retire because a union contract got bought out, he got an annuity for like 100 and some, I think 120, 130 grand, okay? His first thing when I was talking to him over the phone is, I'm going to go buy me a sports car. Now, I'm going to say this to you, and I want y'all to hear me. And I'm coming from the perspective of being 48 and African American. And I'm going to talk to my people. I'm going to talk to my black folks. And I'm going to talk to everybody else who want to listen to some wisdom. Do not buy your cars to impress other people. Buy what is good for you, what's going to last you, what makes logical sense, and what's going to work for your lifestyle, okay? Now I'm going to back this up. My father lived in some ghetto apartments, efficiency apartments, utilities included, in Lubbock, Texas, okay? I'm keeping this real. I want to be real with you. When I went to visit him, I was shocked where he lived, okay? For somebody making the kind of money he made. Instead of taking the money and buying a condo or buying a small house that was his, he lived in these apartments because they were dirt cheap. He literally, his rent was, I think, under $500 a month, utilities included, but it was ghettoville. Okay, the car he had was an old beater that I had to tow back here to use when I got back to Arizona, and they had broke the window at this place. They had broke the side mirror, and God knows what all they did. The people that lived in there were special because I stayed with him for a period when I was in Lubbock, and and you want to drive a sports car up here. I watched some of the people there in Lubbock, some of the African American folks. I'm talking about my people. I ain't talking about everybody else. I'm talking about my being what America calls black, which I hate that term, African American, because we are not black. I'm brown, chocolate. But we get up here and we have this thing to want to show off, to get Audis and Mercedes and Lexus and flashy. My father's very flashy. He had rings on every finger and gold and likes to dress up. But we go home to this ghetto place. It's funny because after I worked for Charles Schwab, something I recognized about people, and I'm going to say white people, okay? I'm going to use y'all example, and even Asian people. I'm going to use them as an example. They can be filthy rich and they're not showy, okay? They may dress nice, they may dress casual. They could be in jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a polo shirt. We had a guy, I remember a story at Schwab. He came in to look at different brokerage firms, like I think like almost a billionaire, okay? Had a lot of properties, had RV parks and some property and businesses, and was a major dude, money, okay? He went into the businesses because he started out when he grew up on a farm. He went into the businesses in overalls and like a, a country guy shirt, okay, and a baseball cap. And he walked up in different ones. He went to different entities, and all of them treated him very bad until he got to Charles Schwab. The guy at Schwab like, hey sir, how you doing? Come on in, have a seat. What can we help you with today? Schwab don't care if you're little or big. They trying to help you make money because they make money from your money, okay? And so he sat down with them. He did everything. He let them complete this little deal. He just did a little deal. A week later, he came into Schwab and he moved all of his money, all of his investments in there, and asked to speak to the head of that branch. He told them that what impressed them was, when I came in here, you didn't judge me based on how I looked. You didn't know even what I had, but you treated me like a human being. When my father got the car he did get, because I talked him out of the sports car, hallelujah, he did get a nice Buick Lucerne, an older people car. Buick, I call them the old people car. It was a beautiful car. Dented it the first day. Beautiful car. It was a certified pre-owned. Actually came here from Arizona, from Tempe, Arizona. And we picked it up on the lot in Lubbock, which we didn't until I saw. I was like, oh, it's from Tempe, my home city. Because it had the little tag on it where they had, I guess, rolled it out there to Lubbock. And he got a beautiful car, but he's going to pull this beautiful car up to this ghetto place. He's probably gone through most of that money because he was buying Stacey Adams suits and shoes and everything. And I'm not trying to tell you he's not supposed to enjoy his retirement. But the reasoning behind the things you do with your finances says a lot about you. For my father, the reason, his thing was, I'm going to look pretty in this car. I'm going to look pretty in this car. So what he wanted was the attention of other people to look at him to say, you have something. Okay? And black people, for whatever reason, I'm talking about African American people, for whatever reason, this is something we do. And it's foolishness. Okay? Absolutely foolish. Now, for me, I think you're going to have things you like to do. Things like, if you have hobbies, like people who like videotaping, they buy nice camera equipment. I've got a list of cameras I'm going to do. I used to do other stuff on here on YouTube. So I love doing this kind of thing. I like vlogging. I like editing, and I've been out of it for a little bit. So now I'm kind of learning some of the new editing. I have computer background, so I'm in here learning, get me a new laptop once I get rolling and money starts coming in, get me a camera. I already saved on Amazon wish list which camera kit I'm getting. I'm looking at the different software for editing software right now. I'm just using the Windows editing software that came with Windows, but I'm looking at different softwares that I'm probably going to get into. I love over-the-road stuff. I want to do over-the-road videos. I know some trucking companies are weird, so I'm probably going to do still photos, but I'm going to work on something. I think I'm going to use Indiana Jack. If you guys haven't checked this channel, I love this guy's channel. Him and Allie Knight. I love watching their stuff. And that's a good example. Indiana Jack, love him. Allie Knight, like her. I'm not saying that you can't go get a sports car. If that's your heart's desire, cool. But if you're buying that car to be showy to other people, you're getting it for the wrong reason. Also, use wisdom. You know, why are you renting an apartment? I'm just going to say this and driving an Audi. I just want to know. Why are you renting, you know, a property and driving a Mercedes or a sports car? Buy yourself your own stuff. So have goals to when you get out here. I didn't really have goals when I head out here. It was really for the adventure of it. That, I guess that was the goal, was the adventure of it. I didn't look at it as possibly a career. Now I'm looking at it as possibly a career. I may retire from it. I don't know. I don't know how. I might retire driving, or I might retire with a few trucks under my belt and having people drive for me. I'm not looking for a fleet. I'm not looking to to create a fleet nowadays. That's like, you might be lucky if you can really do it, because there's too many big boys in it. There's too much competition on that level. There's enough to go out there and have a few trucks under your name and make some good money. But to create like a Knight or a Swift, a JB Hunt, it's going to be kind of rare. It's going to be kind of rare nowadays. Those guys have got it on lock. I'm not saying it's impossible, just saying it's kind of rare. Use wisdom. You know, I'm listening to some people, and I'm part of some groups on here, and phenomenal groups for some of the information I give. Some of it I throw out, some of it I keep. But I'm looking at the people, and people buying $200,000 homes, getting in debt to that degree, buying, name brand, these huge expensive cars that if they break, Mercedes are expensive to fix, Audis are very expensive to fix, because of the title and the prestige that is supposed to go with it. Example. So let me give you an example. So a lot of people are going to go out and buy Air Jordans because Air Jordan is a hot shoe. I'm old school. You know my favorite shoe is? A shoe called Fila. It was an old shoe back in the day. I wear other shoes too, other tennis shoes. But that's my favorite tennis shoe. There are good name brand products. Birkenstocks. A friend of mine just got some Birks. I would love them. I've always wanted some Birkenstocks. They always looked really comfortable to me. It wasn't because of the name. It was because, for me, oh, that looks comfortable. Oh, that's a cool shoe. It's because I like it. I could give a flying flip what other people like about my stuff. I used to have an old Scion in the box. I thought it was cool because it made logical sense to me. I didn't care what people thought of how I looked in the car. I liked the car because I could lay the seats down, I could carry stuff. It was square, and I saw all the utilization of the car. I liked it. What other people think of me and my vehicle, my next car, I'm going to probably, the first car I'm getting ready to buy is a little used old Ford Taurus wagon. I don't know why. I like the look of it. I'm going to find me a used one while I'm over the road, get it to a mechanic, have him overhaul the engine if it needs it, get it detailed out, possibly get some reupholster work done. If it needs painting, get that done. And just that'll be my main car while I'm in town, and then later on I'm saving for a truck. And I'm buying the truck because I'm getting property in Texas. I'm going to homestead it. There's raised bed gardening I'm going to do. I'm going to need haul stuff from the city that has them. Actually, let me near Lubbock. It's not in Lubbock. It's an external city from Lubbock. I'm going to need to haul stuff from the big box stores, or the stores that go into actually Dallas or somewhere else, and bring plants back and stuff back. So I'm going to need a good truck. I'm not caring what people think about my equipment, but what I drive. Because unless you're helping me pay for it, I don't give a dang what you think about my stuff. And I'm not here to impress you by stuff. Me, I have a fetish. I love watches, and I love big face watches, which you can only get men's watches. So I get Invictas, but I also got some more no-name big watches. I like Fossils. I like the big face watches. It's just who I am. But I don't care whether you like what I wear or not. I get it for me. I'm not trying to impress you. And that's where I have an issue. For example, in the trucking realm, Peterbilt is the Cadillac of trucking, I guess Western Star now. And a lot of people like Volvos. I love the interior Volvo as far as the space. But as far as what I learned when I was under the Swift Volvo fleet is Volvos have a lot of electrical issues. So while it's a cool truck on the inside, I need that truck to work for me as a tool. And what I found is the most reliable truck that I drove trucking school, as well as later on at Swift, I ended up in Freightliner. And when I was at Pride, I was in a Freightliner. Now I drove an interstate under Conway, and a nice ride, but I prefer interior ride and not a lot of problems, with the exception of the hose that busted on the Freightliner I had, but it was an older Freightliner. They last. They take you freight. It lasts. I mean, it may have issues, as any truck could have issues, but it lasts. I don't care about what you think. You know, I see once you get your truck, some people chrome it out and do all that, and there's nothing wrong if that's what you want to do because you like it. But for me to impress the truck next to me, whatever. I've got to look at how I'm spending my money. And if you're going to come out here, one of the biggest things is you can lose your shirt with wasting your money. Okay? Save your money. Stop trying to be like everybody else. Save your money and be you. Put an agenda together on why you're out here in trucking, and have some goals with the money that you're making. I have a set goals. I have to finish up clearing up some financial stuff from back from 2009 when I had my properties. Once that's done, then I want to buy property in Texas. I got to do that. Once that's done, well, actually, I'm going to finish up that, get the car, because I want to have something here when I'm in town. Also something if I need to move it out there. Then get the property in Texas. These two may go together, because if I can bring in what I think I can bring in, especially becoming a trainer, I can probably do these back to back. And then I have some goals as far as like getting the equipment I was talking about. I have over the road things that I'm going to need. And a lot of that stuff you can write off. So learn your industry, spend your money wisely. And, you know, I might do, that's one of the things me and Trucker Bill talked about. And that was, we were talking about, you know, I told him I like to train. And he said, if you train, he said, what is your goal in training? I said, teaching people to be safe and drive this stuff with some logical sense and put people on the road that I'm comfortable driving next to. Because there's people that I've ridden behind or even been under as trainers. I am not comfortable driving behind with them on the road. I'm just going to be real. And it's sad to say that, because that's why I want to be a different type of trainer. I want to produce people that, to me, are cognizant of the dangers on that road, respect the other drivers on that road, and safely get back home, whether you have a family, don't have a family, but live to see another damn day, okay? And that's the goal of what I will be doing in some of this with the channel. So, and me and Bill said, teach people survival skills out here as truckers. That's one of the biggest problems, and he's absolutely right. I'm watching people do stuff, and they're trying to impress you and trying to be flashy. Man, let it go. And you know, it's funny because I've kind of become, I'm gonna say a total minimalist, but while I was down with the ankle, I actually had a chance to watch some documentaries. Being older now, you do watch stuff like documentaries and news. And I watched a documentary that I just happened on, and I'm gonna put a link for Amazon if I can for it. It's called The Minimalist. And then it opened me up to tiny homes, because I had never heard of tiny homes. I mean, people said there's a show. I don't have cable. I watch, everything I do is internet based. Even when I had the apartment, my place, I always watched what I have, Roku, which is like a web TV, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Crackle. And then I didn't even watch the news. I watched Newsy, which was you can select what kind of news stuff you want to watch. I just didn't. I couldn't. And I'm not as heavy of a TV watcher as what I was. I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff. So when I watched that, it was just really life-changing, because you have these people that made six-figure salaries, and they're freaking miserable. And you're working hard to pay for stuff to impress other people. Why? I'm looking at my father now, who's now got health issues that are worse, because he's going to take care of himself now. He just sleeps and poops all day. And what he's got this fancy car, but now he can't remember half the stuff. Then on top of that, he had to move from the ghetto apartment. Now he's in another ghetto apartment. And, he could have bought, with the money he had, he could have taken that money, especially in Lubbock, because it's not expensive, and bought a little house. bought a little condo. Something that he could say is he isn't, nobody could tell him to get out or move unless it went under eminent domain by the state. It would be his place. You know, you own it. These people can come into an apartment and sell it, and next thing you know, you got to get out. I went through that gentrification. So it made me cognizant I want to own. Own, people. Buy, and don't buy to impress other people. Set yourself up for your future. A lot of you guys in this industry, you don't have to stay in this industry till you're 70 unless you want to. There's people who drive because they like it. Set yourself up for your future. Yes, you can make money out here, but don't let just making the money be the primary goal you're out here. Make your money work for you, not you work for it. When you're out here buying gold rings and Mercedes Benz and all this stuff because you want to look cool next to somebody, your focus is wrong. Use wisdom in how you're getting your money and look at what is important to you. If you're a family person, set your family up. I got my best friend's husband. I'm going to use this example and I'm going to close out. My best friend's husband is a postal worker. They both were in the military. That's where they met, okay? They're in Florida. He bridged his military time over to the post office because he wants to retire by the time he's 50-something. He's got a lot of health issues coming up from being a post office, or he's a postal carrier. He's made good money. He wants to pay his house off. He's had 3 cars. They had 3 major cars. They're Toyota people. He said, I'm buying all these cars. We're going to keep them in order. This is the last car we're going to get, unless, it just totally craps out and we have to get one. The house will be paid off by the time I retire, and we're going to be set because once I leave, I want to be done. I'll have money put away. This is what I'm doing. He has a plan. They're not flashy, but he keeps his Toyota Camrys. He has a Toyota Camry, and I forget what the other one is. He keeps them nice. He didn't go out and get a Mercedes. He didn't go out and get a Lexus. He's got a good, solid vehicle. They're going to own their home, and they're set. They're both military people. They're going to be set. The wife, my best friend, she works in the mail room she's like the supervisor of the mail room for the pest control company out there, one of the largest pest control companies out in Florida. Use wisdom, and I see where their wisdom was better than mine because they were savers and they had a plan early on. Some of you young people, you just want to be showy for your friends and your buddies and buy big houses. Don't do it. Use some wisdom. And moving to areas, look at how much you can pay for land. One of the reasons I'm going back to Texas, Arizona land right now, a house out here can range you anywhere. In the most ghetto area, you're probably looking about $150,000. If you go to a decent neck of the wood, you're going to look $250,000 upward, okay? And for HOA-based home, where people can tell you how I don't want HOA. I want to own my dirt. I don't want to pay HOA fees. I pay my taxes for my property. 2 fingers rolling. I don't want to be bothered anywhere. I want to own my house. So I'm looking at my options. I'm looking at possibly having a tiny house built. I might be reaching out to DCI Jams. I ain't lying to you. I might buy a trailer, bro, be out to Florida, say, hook me up. If you guys haven't checked this channel, the guy has skills. I've checked his channel. I don't need to link him on here. I'm also going to have a Facebook page. I just created a Trucker Doll Facebook page, y'all. I'll put that on here for you. And I'll have a message me section. I've set that up too on Facebook. So I'm getting everything set up for when I go on the road because I think I should be back, by the way, I'm hoping they release me on the 12th. I'm walking, still a little sore, not sore, but more so my legs tire out quick. But they said that what do you call it? Stamina is going to come with me just walking over time. But the main thing was we were able to do stairs, and if I can climb that 12-foot stair, I'm fine. So we're getting there. Guys, just use some wisdom. I'm not going to make this video too long. 30 minutes is pretty long. Use wisdom and have a plan, have a set of actions. What I'm going to do is show you later, probably in another video, I won't do it here, how I just sat down and I wrote out the goals that I had and the visions I had. And I was watching another truck driver who said that in his trucking school, one of the trucking trainers told him, write a vision board, put a vision board. So he put a vision board together. Now, granted, he wants a fancy car, he wants all that. I think that's a young person thing. And I hate to say that, in my culture, I don't know why we want to be flashy. I think it's because we came from nothing. So when we want to be flashy to show off, let that go. One thing I have to give Asians, and I have to give some of the Anglo or white folks, Y'all will have money and wear khakis, a polo shirt, and some tennis shoes and be filthy freaking rich. We had a guy out here in Arizona who owned RV parks. You meet him, you would have no idea that man was rolling in dough. That trainer that I had at AIT, dude was, I think, almost like a millionaire. He just liked training. He was giving back because he had a good time. And when he gave us a wealth of information, you never know who you're dealing with. We out here in trucking, I've met some people who are very lucrative. There was a guy who came into trucking who was a CPA, went through a divorce, said, I don't want to be a CPA anymore, and I've always wanted to drive a truck. He was in trucking school. He was out there doing an externship with me for working for Werner when I first started out. You never know. Stop looking at people based on what you think they have, based on how they appear. There's people that can put on suits. I'm getting ready to do something for my Christian channel talking about, are you wearing a uniform or a costume? They put on these suits, and that's just a costume. They don't have anything. They're just a clown. That's what I said. When you're on here watching these videos, glean it. You need to really look at it. And are they telling you the truth? Are they making up stuff? Is it for entertainment value? Is there some stuff there's some stuff that's valuable, and there's some stuff I throw it out like with the water, like that is trash. It's bull. I know whether you're succeeding or not. I know how you're doing or not. I know what your focus is. If your focus is money, 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 you're going to be chasing money. Use wisdom. If you use wisdom, make your money work for you. Invest. Have a plan on how you invest. And I'll be talking about some investment stuff and things that I'm going to be using in the near future. And what I'm not going to tell you what to invest in. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. But I'll be doing some investment stuff here in the near future. Setting up for some retirement stuff because I've had to go through a lot of the retirement and rebuild from that. But you can rebuild in a relative short time. You just have to use wisdom on how to do it. Become debt free. There's a lot of things you can do. And if you decide you're going to use this money to buy something, get you property that you can afford. I'm not a fan of HOA. Some people, you guys want to be in HOA? Give it all you got. I don't want to be in an HOA. I want to own my dirt. I want to grow my food. And there's very little, I'm going to be honest, that I want my government's hands in. Because if things go sideways in our world, a lot of these people who are on the system, and they're going to be hurt. They're going to be hurt. Their feelings are going to be hurt. Anyway, I hope this video helps somebody. I know it's a little bit of a rant. Don't buy your stuff to impress people. Your car, your house, your clothes. Buy what you like. Buy what's comfortable for you. I'm a big girl, so I buy my shorts from a big men's store. I buy like polo shirts, so I can get women's polo shirts, but men's polo shirts last longer. There's things as a female I have to get from female stuff. I buy men's socks. One, because I have fat legs, so I buy the compression socks. And the men's compression socks are cheaper than the women's compression socks. Plus, they're thicker, so they last longer. And especially in the industry that we're in, okay? There's things you can do. I'm also talking about some health stuff that I do as a big person or a little person when you drive, when you're sitting for long periods of time. It's important. Junior on here who used to train for Prime, he actually had a driver that passed on him. And there's a reason he did. And they could have used some other wisdom. Anyway, this video is over 30 minutes. Y'all be blessed.